so accurate. I was just self-aware. Yeah. We're like, what's it?
All right. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Ma and Milwaukie Academy of the Arts. And this is the panel session where you can ask us some questions. We have some students here as well as teachers. And two of the teachers are actually alumni from Ma. So they graduated, they went here, they walked through the halls of the old building. And here they are as teachers. Yes, we did get rid of the old school in 2018 and built this brand new school. Well, my name is Michael Fell. I'm one of the art teachers. I teach a variety of classes from digital photography 1 all the way up to advanced photography, as well as intermediate art, advanced art, and AP art. My pronouns are he, him. And I have been involved with this school for 15 years now. And one of the favorite things that I have with respects to Ma is the community. And I think that you will really get that coming across from our students who are here to talk to you about their lived experience, as well as the alumni who are currently teaching here at the school and their lived experience at Ma as well. So I'm just going to, without further ado, pass this microphone on to all of you, and if you can introduce yourselves, pronouns, grade, things that you have been involved with over the years that you've been at Ma, and maybe one of your favorite things about Ma and the school experience. Kinyun, we're going to start off with you.
I'm Kinyun. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm a sophomore at the school. And something I've been involved with is the choir, and I'm also in the writing club. And I have been involved with the cosplay club before, but I am not part of it.
I'm Emery. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a junior at Ma, and I've been involved in the choirs all 3 years of my school experience. I'm on the varsity dance team. I've been in every musical all 3 years. I think that's probably it. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Jakey. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm a senior 12th grader. And some things I've been involved with are choir. I'm actually choir president. And theater, I did the musical last year, and I did the musical this year. I'm pretty sure that's it. Oh, favorite memory? Actually, I'd probably say the musical this year has been my favorite memory. I met so many new people, and I became closer with so many people, and it was such a magical and amazing experience.
Hi, my name is Max. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm a senior here at Ma. A couple of things I've done. I've been involved with choir all 4 years. I've been involved with theater all 4 years. I'm our thespian president this year. And I'm in part of student government. I'm our senior class president. And I think that's it. Yeah, and one of my favorite things about Ma is just the wonderful community that it brings. It brings all these like-minded individuals together, and then it puts us all together in a space where we can become friends. And so I'm very grateful for that.
Hi, my name is Nathan Christ. I'm Ma class of 2009, and I'm also the student teacher for drama this semester, and I'm also the Aspire coordinator at the high school doing college and career work. I lettered in drama and choir when I went to school here, and I was also on the Thespian Council as well. I did a few musicals, a couple of plays, a couple of choir concerts, and I think that one of the most amazing things about being part of the Ma community over my, oh my gosh, it's almost 16 years now, is exactly what Max talked about, the community that it builds of like-minded students who are passionate about the arts, not only in their electives, but also in their core classes. And also the fact that you still get to be part of a bigger community here at Milwaukie High School. The integration between both schools was very beneficial for me. I still have many friends that I made at Milwaukie Academy of the Arts to this day. And we are a very core group of friends that I know that I can rely on and have my back in my adult life as well. So, yeah.
Hi, my name is Savvy Ryan. I use they, them pronouns, and I am one of the visual art teachers here at MA. I teach all of the intro, drawing, and painting. I have one intermediate art class, which is also drawing and painting and a bit of printmaking. And then I teach the mixed media arts, which is a lot of 3D sculpture work. I am Milwaukie Academy of the Arts alumni, class of 2014. Was also involved in choir, did a choir, Pony Pipers, was really involved in photography. That was my huge passion when I was here and what led me to pursue art school and art education in the long run. And my favorite memory as a teacher here was our Pride Festival last year in June. It was phenomenal, and just getting to see all of us come together and celebrate our identities was really special.
Good evening, my name is Freeland Church. I use he, him pronouns. I am school counselor to the class of 2025. That's this year's 11th graders. As a school counselor, I'm not quite sure how to answer the Ma question, but I do love a couple things. Just like tremendous talent that we see in theater, in choir and band, the visual arts. I hope you all took some time to check out some of the art in the lobby across the way before the presentation. There's just so much on display and so much creativity brought into our community through Ma, and I love the mixing of that with MHS, and I think there's a lot of beautiful expression happening here.
Hi, I'm Allison Battistel. I use she, her pronouns. I teach U.S. history, world history, and AP U.S. history. This is we were in the same year, so we've done 15 years together. My favorite thing about Ma is I have the same kids sophomore and junior year, so I get to know kids really, really well. And we've gone on some fun field trips. Every time I organize a field trip, I'm like, never again, because they're so stressful. But we just recently went to the Shakespeare Festival, and it happened to be during the eclipse. And so we saw a few plays, we saw the eclipse, and it was really like a fun time. And we've seen Hamilton a couple of times, and Dear Evan Hansen in Seattle.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Big round of applause. So you probably already have a few questions. One of the biggest questions that people ask us is, what is it like to have a small charter within a larger comprehensive? And certainly by asking some of those questions, the students, as I said, their lived experience, they will be able to talk a little bit about that and how it's actually quite a tight, small community within that larger school that offers a lot of different opportunities. For instance, being able to do Sabin-Schellenberg, which is our career and technical vocational school. And we also have all of the sports that students can play, a variety of different athletic events, and also just being a much larger community for sure. But it is also a arts integration school. So if you start at Ma, if you decide to put your application in and you come to Ma, you will be part of an arts integration school where within the academics, the arts will also be part of how they are being taught, which is very different from Milwaukie High School, which is much more of your traditional comprehensive school. So on that note, I think it's probably best really just to open it up to you all. And if you have some questions, our panel will very gratefully jump in and answer where fit. So does anyone have any questions that would like to lead us off? Yes.
Thank you. My first question really comes down to the other classes, math and sciences and those types of classes that are taught through an art lens, I believe is the term you all use. I'm trying to understand what that art lens means as opposed to, I guess, I would say more traditional, educational settings.
Great question. Does anyone want to start? Yeah. Can you, one of our students, will give you definitely a student view, and maybe Allison as a academic teacher if you'd like to. Yeah.
So, as a newer raw student, I definitely got a lot more of the, there's been more feedback since I started, so I don't know about your guys' experience, but for me, especially like my math class was super good about integrating art. But for the most part, it does teach a lot of like the basic basic like math, history, that sort of thing. But for example, when we did big projects that were like project grades and test grades, they would be art-based. So we would make like a piece of art that showed all the different like vocabulary words that we use during geometry. Or for example, I think during my English class, I think it was, we wrote like creative short stories for our like final, and so it was a lot more art focused with the big projects, but the individual lessons were more like basic class. Do you want to talk?
Sure. Yeah, I think that an important thing to know is like we're learning all the same stuff, right? Like the sophomores, whether you go to MA or just normal MHS, right? You're going into the next grade knowing the same things, but everything is kind of MA is very specialized for people who have are better visual learners, or people that just like learn better through the arts and like creating things and doing things hands-on and whatnot. Like I know for me personally, like I found now being a junior and being in like a normal MHS math class that sort of math actually works better for me. But like English and things like that, as opposed to like writing an essay or something, it's like, all right, let's have a class discussion about this. Let's break down this text. Let's make a visual response to this in any way. You can draw an art piece, you can make a video, you can do things like that. You just have more options. And I think that that's always really important. And another thing too is like your teachers are very receptive to that also. If you have a MA teacher, then you can be like, hey, this assignment is not connecting in my brain or whatever, and they're much more flexible about being like, all right, let's talk, like, all right, what is your brain, what is gonna help this get through to you? And that's just gonna be a lot clearer, as opposed to like some other teachers that might be like, well, I can help you try to get this done, but is it actually gonna sit in? Maybe not so much.
Do you want to pass it down to Allison?
I know your question was about math, but I can tell you something about history. So yeah, it's sort of two-pronged in history, because you can talk about art history and incorporate art history. If you think about the unfinished Benjamin West portrait of the Treaty of Paris as giving you some ideas of what's going on. The Jacques-Louis David painting was like propaganda from the French Revolution, like incorporating those sorts of things. And then product-wise, I will often be very flexible, or like I've had some wild projects from some of the people up here. So there's opportunities to film. We've done simulations that are kind of incorporate acting. There are some opportunities for visual art, poetry, just a lot of different. Stella, who will be on the next panel, wrote and recorded a song for a project, and so Willie Dillon, who's our choir teacher, is very, very generous that they have a recording studio. And so multiple kids have gone in and recorded work, and there's a great song about Kim Jong-un I can play for you in the background. So yeah, I think, just incorporating the ideas in a lot of different ways that kids are passionate about. There's a 1920s skit video where they have to use 20s slang and talk about a certain issue in the 1920s, and these two had quite. Everyone else's videos were 6 to 8 minutes long, 24 minutes maybe? What was your?
It was only 23.
Yeah, but yeah, so, yeah. Hopefully that answers your question.
So clearly we need to work on editing skills.
No, it was all valuable.
And as the photography teacher, I have seen that up in my photo lab where a lot of Allison's students have come up to use iMovie to edit because they're, you know, please can we use the computers because we're making something for Battistel in the history class. So I hope that answered your question. Does anybody else have any other questions? Yes?
I believe one of the students mentioned taking a math class at MHS.
Yeah.
So how does that, is it possible to take MHS classes conventionally versus law classes? And what would that look like? And where? What grade?
Yeah, so the question was, I think, Emery, you had mentioned a math class in MHS. I don't know if you specifically take one at MHS or not, but yeah, I'll pass it on to Kinyuan because you wanted to say something.
So for me personally, I don't take Miss Battistel's history class because I take the AP World History, which is part of the main high school. So if you take any AP classes, that's not going to be specifically part of MA, so you won't be with your cohort. But I do know that a lot of MA students choose to take the AP classes. So any of those won't be MA, and a lot of electives are also mixed with MA. So yeah, but I don't know about your math class.
So my math class, I don't actually know why. It's just kind of like is a thing where I think it's just a thing that junior year junior math is just mixed. I'm not 100% sure why or if there's really a reason. I think it is like really a thing though that with Mom, when we're talking about like an inner community and things like that, like you don't. Like you feel that community within your classes and stuff, but you don't feel at all isolated in the school. You're just going to class every day. So if you are friends with like normal, like I say normal MHS people, I mean like people who go to MHS and whatnot, that the only time that you'll be like, oh yeah, I have this teacher, and they'll be like, who? And you're like, oh, you don't know that teacher? Like you don't have it? Okay. That's really the only times that like you notice that difference. And so it didn't even take me until like the first few days of school to realize, oh, this isn't a MA class. Oh well, whatever. And so yeah, math is one of the only ones I think that for juniors, at least right now, there's not a MA class for it. I'm not 100% sure why, but it's kind of
Depends on your levels, because there's multiple.
What's kind of for
Thank you. Yeah, I think I can speak to that with a little more detail, and I appreciate the students given their experiences. MA students will take their three core classes as a cohort in 9th grade, and then all 4 in 10th grade, unless, like Kinyuan, you are in AP World History. So the AP, and if in case you don't know, AP stands for Advanced Placement. Those are intended to be college-level classes. They fulfill the core subject credit, but they're sort of like an elective in that you are opting into that college-level class. So the high school level world history is still taken as a MA cohort. In 11th grade, biology, English, and US history are all in a cohort, though there are AP levels of each of those if a student wanted to take on one or more of those. And right now in 12th grade, the language arts class is the MA cohort class. And the reason for a couple of reasons why that changes year to year is as students go through high school and get higher up, they have more access to those AP classes. And so with that differentiation, that's where we get more mixed classes coming into the core subjects.
Can I do a shout out for my department? Shout out for my social studies department. All of our AP classes are dual credit. So for example, in my US history class, students, if they get a C or higher, they do not have to take the AP test at all, get History 201, History 202, and History 203 credit from OIT, which can be transferred to any university in Oregon, pretty much. Same with World History, same with AP Gov and AP Psychology. So you could have, if you just do AP Social Sciences, you could have about a year of college credit already under your belt. And I think we're the only school in the district that has dual articulated for all of our classes.
I also went the AP route when I attended here in my junior and senior year. And a lot of the AP teachers were aware that a lot of MA students were in their classes, and from my personal experience, it felt like they did a really good job to still incorporate art as much as they could, especially in the history and English AP classes.
And continuing.
I just wanted to say something about what Savvy said with my experience as being in an AP class this year. I find that the AP classes do have a lot of MA students in them, but you will find that it's definitely way less art focused. Recently, that a lot of the stuff is just what you would be doing in a normal MHS high school class. So don't get your hopes up too high about that.
And just to kind of piggyback on what Ms. Battistell said regarding dual college credit, there's a number of classes that one can take as the students move up into sophomore, junior, senior year, where they are dual college credit. And in art, we offer 15 credits. So a student can get 4 credits in design, 4 credits in drawing, 4 credits in painting, and 3 credits in photography, all through Clackamas Community College. And Ms. Battistell and I were on a field trip pre-pandemic down at U of O for an art show, and we bumped into a student of mine, and he was essentially a sophomore in an art class. So he completely bypassed the freshman art classes that he wanted to, that he was doing because he was a design major. Any other questions? Yes, in the back.
This is kind of a piggyback on the AP question. Do you offer AP art?
Yes, we offer AP art. So we offer, it's a vertical system in our art classes. So we have drawing and painting, which are semester-long classes. Then we have intermediate art, which is a year-long class. Then we have advanced art, which is a year-long. And then we have AP art. And with respects to AP art, they are creating a portfolio of 15 pieces. They don't have to be finished pieces. And they are doing that based on a sustained focus that the students work with me about, but they come up with the actual theme that they want to do.
So that age class is within MA, and you're basically reaching a portfolio stage is what you're looking at?
They are making a portfolio. I will say that all of our electives are blended classes. So every elective that the students take, they will be blended with Milwaukie High students. However, in the arts, I can only speak from the visual arts. In my higher level art classes, I think I have about 32 who are in my advanced and AP art class because they're blended. And of that 32, probably 26 are MA students. So it's definitely weighted in the MA students' favor, but it's open, obviously, to Milwaukie High as well.
Just to piggyback on that question, sorry I'm taking you over. Do you have enrollment caps for each of your classes, and how does that work? Like if you're
Do we have a what?
for your electives, you probably have enrollment caps for how many students in each class?
Yeah, I think it's around 35. Yeah. In the photography, it's 34 because I only have 34 machines. But yeah. Question? Yeah.
So as I understand it, you would be going from the art building to this one. Like, how does that work? Because I feel like that would take kind of a while. If like you're like one class on like the top floor here, and then you gotta go all the way outside.
You will definitely get your steps in. Even the teachers. I teach in the art, and then I teach all the way up in the 3rd floor, the very next period, so I'm walking with the students as well. The furthest you can go is the band room, all the way to one of the furthest math classes, but there is a 10-minute passing period. So it's easy to get to it, If you don't kind of slow down, 7 minutes, sorry. It's easy, I think it's probably 10 minutes because I sometimes have to let my class a couple of minutes early just so I can get up there. So yeah, you do have passing period. Any other questions? Yes?
For traditional high school activities like homecoming dances, prom, clubs, sports, is that something that is separated, or are both schools all together?
All together, absolutely all together. We are Mustangs through and through, all together. So yeah, and if you have a student that loves singing or theater or visual arts and they want to come to Ma, but they're also an athlete and they play soccer, they can play on the Milwaukee Mustangs soccer team. Yeah, yeah. Nathan.
Max is also on our ASB.
Max is also on our associated student body. So Max, would you like to talk about planning some MHS activities as a Ma student?
Yeah. All the activities are mixed, and we want to make sure that they like appeal to every student. So we try to make like our assemblies fun for everyone with like arts vibe to them as well as just like normal high school stuff. And then we do try to make sure like our homecoming activities, all of those events have like artistic aspects to them, and same goes for like our prom. It's all like together, but you have Ma and MHS kids together planning those events, so we make sure that they work for everyone. And yeah, I mean, I think of Ma as sort of like a built-in friend group that you get at the start, and then you get to branch out and meet the MHS kids as well, and you gain new and fun experiences from that. So I'm glad that we have the mixed events so that we can sort of like branch out and have new experiences. I think that's it.
And we also have several affinity groups. We have Ascension, we have Black Student Union, we have our Queer Student Union, our Asian Pacific Islander Club. We just started a Jewish Student Union.
We also started Neurodivergent Club as well.
Neurodivergent Club. So there's a variety of different clubs and affinity clubs all going on. There's an art club, there's a math club, there's the D&D, chess club, variety of clubs.
Oh, another way to get language credit, and Nathan mentioned, is we offer language assessments. We've been doing them every quarter. The district has. They use the STAMP assessment, and students can earn up to 4 credits for a language, a native language that they already know, a language they grew up with. And depending on scores, can also get the state seal of biliteracy on their diploma, which is pretty cool.
Liz.
Is there a portfolio component to the application process?
I don't believe that there's a portfolio component, no. No, there is a little bit of a written component, and that's a good kind of segue just to remind you all that if you are interested in applying, the deadline is Friday, March 15th. The notes that I have here, it says students from NCSD and siblings of current MA students do have preference. There is a weighted lottery for remaining openings for out-of-district applications, and over the 100 students per grade, that opens a lottery that begins on March 18th. So just as a kind of a, put that little thought into your brain, is March 15th is when you want to get your application in. We probably have time for maybe one more question if anyone would like to ask something. Yeah.
I know you said electives are mixed, but like if you go to MOC, can you take MHS electives as well?
Well, they are completely mixed, so everything that is offered as an elective in MA is also offered at MHS. So for instance, my 35 students in an art class, maybe 20 are MA and 15 are MHS students. Does that make sense? It's a little kind of confusing to picture it, but just imagine that 35 students in a classroom that is normal, 20 might be MA, 15 MHS, or vice versa. Yeah, same with your PE classes, singing, yeah.
Yeah, and definitely, as choir president, I could say we have a lot of actually MHS kids in our choir. So, and definitely in our theater programs too. There's a lot of MHS kids who try theater for the first time and find a passion for singing or acting, and then they pursue it further. So definitely, there's no divide in MHS and MOS students who can take any electives, and it actually is a really nice way of meeting new people and interacting with a lot of different people. I met a lot of really close friends through doing a lot of my language electives and then also doing choir. I met a lot of really cool people.
Yeah, so I think kind of adding on to that a little bit, like as we kind of like wrap up and get our brains around, just kind of clarifying that like MA is a arts academic program, and so it's going to focus on those core 3 or 4 classes depending on what grade you're in: math, science, English, and then when you get to sophomore year, history. And so it's focusing on those classes, and it's changing the academics, and so that means that all of the electives, all of your arts electives are going to be mixed with other kids who want to do art from the entire school. And that's like a really cool thing, because by being here and having a school, like a charter school within the bigger school, that is attracting people from all over the district, then that actually like helps our arts program thrive even more by having all of these artistic people from all around the district coming here. So our visual art program is amazing, our performing arts program is amazing, our choir program is fantastic, we're so awesome. And also it's just nice that any if not most electives that at least aren't required, any electives that you want to take are going to be people from the bigger school that you still want to be around, because it's more like-minded interests. So, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I hope that that kind of answers some of your questions that you might be thinking. And I believe that all of you are going to eventually kind of swap over and do a tour of these buildings. And so thank you very much to our panel, the amazing panel. All right. Well, I think we're going to get going. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to session 2. This is the panel, and it is your time to hear from us, some teachers as well as students, and also for you all to ask some of the questions that you might have, especially after you've just had the tour around the building. And maybe there are some questions that are kind of brewing up there. But my name is Michael Fell, and I'm one of the visual arts teachers. My pronouns are he, him. I teach a variety of classes: photography 1, photography 2, advanced photography, as well as intermediate art, advanced art, and AP art. And on this panel, we have a handful of students. We also have some staff and a counselor. And two of the staff are also alumni who went to school here. So you will be able to hear some kind of lived experiences from students and staff alike. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass the microphone on and let people introduce themselves, and then we'll go from there.
My name is Kinyuan. I am a sophomore at MA. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm mostly active in the choir and the writing club.
Hi, I'm Emery. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a junior at MA, and I am in 2 advanced choir classes. I've been in the musical all my 3 years. I'm also on the varsity dance team.
Hi, my name's Stella. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a junior at MA, and I'm most active. I'm in the same 2 advanced choirs. I'm in the jazz band, or was, but I still count myself as a band kid. I play soccer and basketball, and am a part of the theater program.
Alright, hi, I'm Cooper. I use he, him pronouns. I'm currently a senior, and I am active in theater, choir, visual arts, and I also do participate in our school's QSA and student equity.
Hi, my name is Nathan Christ. My pronouns are he, they, and I am student teaching for drama this year. I'm also the Aspire coordinator for the school. I do college and career work. I'm also a MA graduate, class of '09, and I lettered in drama and choir when I was in high school, so I love both of them.
Hi, my name is Savvy Ryan. I use they, them pronouns. MA class of 2014. I'm one of the visual art teachers here. I do the intro, drawing, and painting, a section of the intermediate class, and then the mixed media arts class, which is a little bit of sculpture, mixed media, 3D work. I facilitate QSA along with a couple other teachers, as well as the art club. I was also very involved in choir when I went here. In theater and the visual arts, obviously, and did sports here as well. I did volleyball when I was here. I think that's it.
Good evening, my name is Freeland Church. I use he, him pronouns. I am school counselor to the class of 2025. That's this year's 11th graders. Something that I appreciate about about the school in general, especially as a school counselor, in part because of MA, I think, we are able to offer a really robust selection of classes, particularly electives. We have a lot of career and technical education classes available through our Sabin-Schellenberg Technical Center, and then so many arts classes here on campus, and I love that we're able to offer such a wide variety.
Hi there, I'm Allison Battistel. I use she, her pronouns. I am the social studies teacher. I teach MA World, MA US, and AP Advanced Placement US History. In my AP class, I offer 9 credits, History 201, History 202, and History 203. It's a dual credit college program. You don't have to take the AP test to earn college credits. And I have the MA kids, sophomores and junior year, so it's really nice because we get to know each other really, really well.
Great. Well, thank you very much. So the wonderful thing about MA, and also the very unique thing about MA is a small charter school, about 400 students, just slightly less, within a larger comprehensive high school. So in total, there are 1,300 students that go to Milwaukie and Milwaukie High and MA altogether. And so MA is about 1/3 or so of the size. But they all blend together, they move around together. However, with MA, they also have their own MA actual classes that your students would be moving on to. And I think that that is one thing that is probably very hard to kind of find anywhere throughout the United States, other schools that kind of look like this, which makes us a very unique model. And despite being in a larger school and being able to do things like, for instance, Stella was saying she plays basketball and soccer, basketball and soccer, but also within the theater. So there's a variety of different things that your students will be able to do if they came to Milwaukie Academy of the Arts. And definitely, without a doubt, something that I think our students would be able to possibly talk a little bit more about. But I'll open it up to you all if you have some questions, and feel free to throw them our way. Anybody have any questions? We don't bite. Yes?
What's the role of technology in the MA program? I mean, day to day, what does it look like?
The question was, what is the role of technology in day-to-day life? Are you talking about with respect to computers or? So every student has access to a Chromebook. They're given a Chromebook when they come to the school that's throughout the district. And we do have a computer lab, which we use for digital photography. We also use it for yearbook. We have computers throughout other areas of the school. Other classrooms have Chromebook carts if needed. So the majority of teachers are definitely using, we're a Google school, so we're using Google Classroom to turn all of our work in. So yeah, technology is definitely there, for sure. Question?
I'll kind of piggyback on that. So from the student perspective, how much of your day do you spend on screens within the school day?
For me, I personally don't work with computers very well. It just like typing things and things like that doesn't work very well for me. And so all of the teachers are super, super accommodating for if you would rather do stuff on paper. They'll usually print it out for you or make some sort of way that you can do anything on paper instead of having to do it through the computer. So for me personally, I don't spend much of my time on the computer because I ask mostly for paper copies of whatever we're doing. The only time that that's not true is when we're doing science and we have to do labs and things. So yeah.
I would say pretty much the exact same. I'm definitely probably more of a computer person. So again, you see the different options there. I think it really does depend on what class you're in. I think that as you go up in grade levels, you use your computers a little bit more, just as you're being kind of like taught some technology stuff and then you're actually putting it to practice. I like the science thing that you brought up because that's what came to mind. It's like some days you're not using your computer at all the entire time, and then some days it's like, all right, today's the computer day. Everything's on the computer because we're taking a test or whatever. So yeah, I would say it's definitely pretty balanced. My eyes never really hurt at the end of the day as like a technology thing or whatever. And then also all of the Chromebooks that you get from the school, you take home, and that's yours for the entire year. Don't lose it, but you can work on homework at home. You do the whole thing. Yeah, you don't have to like use it, and then you're at home and you're like, I don't have a computer. You go.
In my classroom, I make all assignments available on Google Classroom for students who, like Emery, like to access their homework and their assignments through digital means. But for students who also don't like the technology, I always have paper copies of assignments available. And I teach drama, so my classroom's not very technology dependent. But I do try to make opportunities for students to practice digital citizenship in their classes, proper technology use. We enforce a policy of no phone use in the class. Unlike some teachers, I don't take away phones. I expect you to be able to police yourself. But I think that varies from class to class between teachers and their policies.
Yeah, technology, that was a good question. Technology is definitely a part of our world, and even in the arts, whilst we are drawing and painting and printmaking, every assignment that I give to my students, I'll present it as a PowerPoint to them, and then I'll PDF it, put it up there. If they're not there, then they always have that to reference, and there's a lot of artists there to reference. Then they know what the brief is, and they can always go back and look at it. Digital photography is a little bit different. They're taking photos, they are editing photos, and the majority of the class is actually spent learning Photoshop. They take the photos, they come in, and they use it as studio time. Great question. Yes?
So how do you think MA does for resiliency and effectiveness in life after high school? What do you do?
Wow, that's a great question. And is there anyone, especially on the alumni, but Kinyuan wants to start off, and then we'll pass it on to the two teachers that actually went here as students and are now working here.
One class that I can definitely say is like based completely around that is the arts lab class, which I know all of the people here have taken, which can be pretty rough at times. There's like a big research project and things like that that definitely are meant to prepare you for college, and working in groups and having to do bigger assignments and things for college and for whatever you go into after that, and a lot of what it's like to work in the art world. So for us, we did stuff like what it's like to work with like a client, basically. So things like that prepare you for college and work, specifically in the arts lab class. But I know that everybody else who's here had a very different experience than I did, because we had a complete different like rework of the arts lab. So I'll let them talk about that.
Okay, so yeah, arts lab for me was definitely like a college prep class. That's what it was called essentially. But yeah, it was a huge research project twice. But you got to implement like art and stuff into it. So that was very like prepare for college, all that, like what is it like to have to do like job level projects, all that. But yeah, and also a lot of teachers provide their like support with people who want to like explore art and like theater, all that after they graduate, and also just college in general, whatever they want to explore. Teachers always like are able to write letters of recommendation, always like able to help out with like applications and stuff. But yeah, we have a whole college and career center, so that you can get help with. So, yeah.
As a MA alumni, I look back at my time at MA and think about all of the opportunities that I was given to lead and to prove myself and my skills and my talents. For example, today, you see a lot of students in these purple shirts around the school. These students are practicing leadership skills in this moment, and we've given them the opportunity to step up and lead you on tours, to tell you about the school, and I was given the same opportunities when I was at MA. We were put in charge of assemblies, we were put in charge of events, we were put in charge of artistic exhibitions, and it's those kinds of experiences within the school environment with teachers and administrators who are supporting you and putting their trust in you that really give you the confidence to go forward in life and say, I can do this. I remember out of high school, I was given one of my first drama internships at a local theater company from a former student of a teacher of mine. And it was my first real job in drama, and now I work in the local Portland theater scene as well as here at the high school, and it all started with MA. So there's a lot of opportunities for students to really grow in those skills and show resiliency later on in life.
I talk to my students a lot about the growth that has happened here at MA. Being a student here about 10 years ago and now a faculty member, it has changed tremendously over the past decade and has adapted with our culture and with the times. It's allowed me to come back here and express myself freely in my gender and sexuality, and that was something I wasn't able to do back in the early 2000s as a student. And there are so many different affinities and communities within Milwaukie. We have the Milwaukie Mustang home as a whole, and then we have the charter within that, and then we have different clubs and affinities all over the place. And I think it makes people very resilient when you come here. You also have a lifelong community afterwards. Michael Fell was my teacher when I went here, and remained a mentor of mine after I left, as well as my English teacher, Heidi Pullen, David Adams, Ken Blacksmith. Like, so many teachers remained in touch and stayed in contact with me. I would come back to MA and talk about what the arts education in higher education looked like and what that route looked like. And I think it's made me very resilient from a student perspective and also from a teacher perspective.
I just want to let it be known that Michael and Allison have worked here since my senior year of high school. And so I think that it's very important to notice that when we hire teachers from MA, they want to be here and they enjoy the work that they do here. And so Michael and Allison are really great examples of, again, MA resiliency and staff. They really like the work that they do, and they love on our kids. So, yeah.
I was just gonna say one of the biggest things about MA is a lot of the projects are very self-led, I would say, which is a big part of like stepping outside of high school and understanding like how much you have to lead your like exactly that self-lead. And so I would say one of the biggest examples in like my sophomore year English class, we had a project that was purely picking a topic, researching it, and then creating a piece of work. It didn't matter what it was, didn't matter the style. I researched frogs and made a painting about a frog, and I got an A just purely because of the creativity behind it and researching and putting in work that and like citing my sources. And it's all like self-led, teaching you how to think outside of the box and really take control of things like that in your own field and interests and creative thoughts and put it on paper, which is really cool to create a space that allows you to do that and makes you feel comfortable doing that sort of thing. So I'd say that's pretty big. Oh yeah, and I made a song for my history final. I did it on a, I produced and recorded a song and wrote with my friend and submitted it for my history final. That was pretty cool as well. And that was, once again, just the creative outlet and ability to express yourself in a way like without judgment is, I think, one of the biggest things coming out of this school is there's so much freedom, like understanding that there's so much freedom in the world that you can take hold of and continue to use that, which I think this school does a really good job at teaching you that. As a sophomore, I am actually currently doing that project. And right now, I've noticed that so many different people are doing so many different things. Like there are people who are crocheting for that project. There are people who are painting. There are people who are singing. There are people who are writing. All sorts of things are happening, and the teacher, she really just said, hey, you have 3 weeks, do something. And so you have to manage your own time, and she's not going to sort of baby you about it. So it definitely, it makes you manage your own time, because you either do it or you don't, and it's kind of on you. So that's definitely making you learn that you need to be responsible for yourself.
Yeah, and that leads into the arts integration that MA is. In all of the MA classes, art is woven in to how it's being taught. So whether it's being done as a song or there were videos, there were films in Allison's class. Last year, students were coming up to the photography lab and they were editing their films that they were making. I have a student in intermediate art right now who came and met with me, and they're doing an oil painting for their English class. So there's a variety of creative ways that students can solve the brief that's being given to them, which is what makes it different than Milwaukie High School, which is your more traditional high school, comprehensive high school. So it's a lot more creative in many respects. Yeah, any other questions? Did you have a question? I would think that the question was, if you wanted to do something, would you be able to do it digital and animate it? Absolutely. I would think that you would have that opportunity to problem solve, and to get from A to Z the way that you feel works for you and what it is that you're trying to do. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that all of the MA teachers are super, super accommodating. So if you go to them and say, hey, I don't know if this exactly fits what you want me to do, but this is the idea that I had, or what we're doing isn't working for me, it's not making sense, it's not something that I feel like is making sense to me, it's not working for me, they will definitely work with you to personally try and make a better plan.
Just kind of adding on to that, I think that that's one of the benefits of having smaller class sizes, and overall just having you still have the teachers still have the same amount of classes, but just overall less students, and I think that helps with getting to know the people personally, and then also taking the time to actually communicate with them and understand each student's needs and what works for them. And so that's something that's also been very helpful, whether it's with MA and even just succeeding in the future and whatnot. It's all about, all right, how can we best get the information to you as opposed to just like, I don't understand this, I'm going to do the bare minimum to get by and pass the test, and I am never ever going to remember this ever again, and then a test comes up for your SAT or whatever, and you're like, well, I'm screwed. Instead it's like, oh, well, for English or whatnot, like, oh, I didn't write an essay on this, but I did make an oil painting about it, so I remember this entire book that I read. Like, it's just like things like that where you're interpreting things in different ways. And of course, you still learn how to write essays, and you learn how to write good essays, because our teachers are amazing. But you get the creative outlets that you need, so it's not all, so academic all the time.
Yeah, and also just to kind of go back to the variety of how they're being prepared for the future. As Allison Battistel said, a variety of classes here at the school offer dual college credit. So we have AP as well as dual college credit. The entire history department, all of the teachers can offer that. In art, there's up to 15 college credits available through CCC, where the classes are aligned. Advanced art, AP art, and advanced photography, they're all aligned with intro art classes over at CCC. And these are actual college credits, so they can be used not just at CCC, but they could apply to PSU, and PSU could say, okay, well now I'm gonna push you into Art 201 instead of having to pay for Art 101. Some of our English classes as well. And students have all of the opportunities, as Freeland said, to go to Schellenberg and take all of the CTE classes that we offer there. So there's a variety of different things. Yes, question?
So they mentioned a high graduation rate, but I'm curious about what happens to the graduates after that. So, I mean, maybe this is a question for the counselor as far as what's next. Like, where are the graduates going?
Yeah, I'll pass that on to Freeland, and Freeland can also clarify anything with respects to the MA diploma and stuff.
Shoot, I wish I could pull some more accurate numbers out of my head right now, but I want to say our MA students, like maybe 40% go on to 4-year, maybe more than that. And then probably another 40 go to community college to start. I don't know if y'all have anything to add as alumni, but Michael, what were you referring to with the diploma piece?
What type of diploma do they graduate with? It's a standard.
Yeah. Oregon diploma, 24 credits, and then we have a few non-credit requirements as well. Extended application, career-related learning experiences, kind of connecting what's happening in high school to future steps. Yeah, we do have students who go to some like performing arts programs after high school. Is that, yeah, trying to answer your question with as much detail as I can.
Are some of the graduates going out to like LISD or like some of those kind of programs beyond this?
Yeah, I've taught here for 15 years now, and I've taught art for 15 years. And I can certainly say Savvy received a full ride scholarship to art college, and you ended up transferring over to PSU. Every year we have students that are applying to New York University, certainly Pacific Northwest College of Art, Chicago School of the Arts. All of those art colleges are definitely coming up, and some of our theater students are definitely looking at Los Angeles and New York City as well. So yeah, all of those big universities, as you said, RISD, they're all ones that are on their kind of radar for sure. Nathan.
In regards to the theater students that you were talking about, Laura Steenson, the drama teacher, and I have been helping students do their pre-screens, which are videotaped auditions for entrance into art schools. like Michael said, a lot of our students have applied to art schools in both Los Angeles and New York. I personally went to community college out of high school and took advantage of the Oregon Promise Grant, which is a grant that helps students from Oregon go to school virtually free. There's a little bit of a fee involved from semester to semester. And then did my bachelor's and now my master's degree. So we go, Ma kids go places. So don't, my friend Maria Massa, she's a recording artist. She sang for Katie Lang. So there's lots of cool people that go places from Ma.
And then we come back here.
Yeah, and then we come back and teach. Because it's so cool.
And I just wrote a letter of reference this weekend for a student who is applying to Trinity College in Dublin. So yeah, yeah.
So I understand the competition of going to arts college. Do you have any tips for students that are trying to apply to MA? Like, I'm not sure how competitive it is to get in here and what.
Well, I think our students on the panel would be the best ones to ask because we have sophomores, juniors, and seniors who are sitting here, and they were sitting where you are just a few years ago.
My biggest thing is it's actually just luck. There's no, like, no matter really what you put in your application, it's not gonna make your chance higher to get in. So the only thing that's really gonna make your chance higher is if you're in district or you have a sibling going to the school. So if you're out of district, it's pretty much just luck, which kind of sucks, but worked out for me, so yeah. But there's also a couple of things that I thought about while we were talking earlier about the colleges and going on places after this. We have a lot of really, really, really good resources here. So the College and Career Center will obviously help you out, and your counselors as well. They can help you find scholarships if you want financial aid. They'll help you find colleges that fit your interests, and also if during high school you want to find a job, they'll also help you out with that. So they're a super, super good resource, as well as our school social worker is super good. So they all are super good resources, and they will all be super willing to help you out. And then for the, what was it? I think it was about the AP classes. I'm in AP World History this year, and the one thing I want to say about AP is that it is not a MA-only class. It will be mixed with the MHS High School, and it will not be as art-based as the MA classes are. Just as a warning, so that you're not expecting super art-based things in AP classes.
Yeah, and just to go back to your question, the deadline to apply is Friday, March 15th, and as Kinyuan said, students from NCSD and siblings of current MA students do have preference, and there is a weighted lottery for remaining openings for out-of-district applications. And over the 100 students, if we get over 100 students apply, then that opens up another lottery on March 18th.
So by lottery, do you just mean first come, first serve type of thing?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Freeland?
As long as you apply by the deadline, you're in the lottery to get in. And then after that, it's waitlisted by, I think, the initial group that's left over. Jenny, do you want to add something?
Yes. Sorry. Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm one of the administrative assistants, but I do the scheduling and schedules and help with MA enrollment. And so I will say last year was the first year we did have a wait list. In a while, not the very first year, but in a while because COVID and things like that. But there will be students, if you really are interested in going, apply anyway, because there are students who do end up deciding to go elsewhere, and your position can get moved up very quickly. Like first week of school, we called some people and accepted them. And so if your student is interested in applying, I would just throw an application in there, and then hopefully there's enough spots for everybody, but if not, usually the wait list moves pretty quickly due to students moving or deciding to go elsewhere as well.
Okay, thank you.
And I think also, speaking to your question, there's no portfolio requirement as part of the application. I think the most objective part is an essay, I want to say, talking about arts interest, I think.
And we are just running a little bit past 8, so we'll take maybe one more question or a couple more questions. Yeah.
So I have endless admiration for the students and the thing where you said about teachers teaching to your strength and how you learn. When you walked in as a freshman, did you already know how you learned, or did you figure that out as a freshman?
That's a great question.
As someone who has grown up very academically charged and focused, I've always been very driven. I didn't really understand that I could learn even better through arts, and I think that's one of the things I learned through this school was like I've always been very driven, but arts made me learn in a completely different way that connected, like they talk about like the pathways that connected, and I feel like it genuinely did help me understand things better, but I didn't understand that because I was in an environment that could help facilitate that learning process. And so a big part for me is like I always loved the arts, but I also always loved academics, and so combining the two really helped me understand where I could go. And that was a big thing for me in going to MA, is that the arts really helped further my academics, but also further my art interests at the same time, which was really big for me. So freshman year, that definitely was kind of, I would say, mind-boggling, but also opened up a lot of things for me, which I appreciate.
I had like almost the exact opposite of that. I went to a tiny arts charter school for elementary school, and I loved it there. And then I went to a public middle school, and I think it was the worst experience I've ever had in my life. And I was like, never again. And since coming back to a small charter art school, it has definitely highlighted even more how much better I excel in an arts environment. Because sometimes just writing essays and taking notes out of a textbook just isn't the way that everybody is able to learn. And there's so many different ways that art can accommodate to so many different learning styles that it's pretty amazing. So when I came in, I did know that it was how I had learned best. So yeah.
I kind of had a similar experience, honestly. I went to an arts middle school. And so I knew that that was something that worked for me, and but I was looking to, I went to a really small middle school, and so I was actually looking to expand my horizons by going to an arts-based school that was within a bigger school. That just kind of sounded perfect, and it worked out really well in the ways that you are seeing diverse groups of people all the time, and you are seeing lots of people, and you're experiencing this bigger school environment, which I think is actually a good thing for everyone. I think that there's amazing things about small schools, like I even talked about with like smaller class sizes and things like that. There's definitely benefits to all of that, and you get all of that, but you get it in a bigger environment. So you're still walking around everybody in hallways, and it's still crowded. It's still that normal kind of high school experience. And also, if anybody has questions like after this panel, feel free to come up and talk to us also, because I'm seeing more hands and I feel bad.
And there's a question back here, and I think that we'll call this the last question of the night. And if anyone does have any other questions that weren't answered, please feel free to, as Emery said, come on up. But the one in the back, I know you had your hand up.
Thanks. I'll try to make it quick, sort of two questions in one. So first, I was hoping to just get clarity if students at MA are able to choose or access the Stephen Schillenberg option all 4 years or just upperclassmen?
Yes.
All 4? Awesome, easy answer. Okay, thank you. And then I was just wanting clarity on this picture. Is this correct that the core class
Yes, and that includes Sabin Schellenberg, it includes sports. So if your student loves art, but they're also an athlete, they can obviously play for the Mustangs. As an art teacher, I have 35 students in my advanced AP art class, 32 maybe, and about 26 or so are actually MA students. But if you go down into the more intro level classes, with that 35, it could be 20 MHS and 15 MA or vice versa. Same with PE, your health classes, all of your electives. They are blended.
So when you're saying smaller class sizes, that doesn't feel small.
Core
Although it
subject.
sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Core subject.
Yeah, the core subjects are smaller, so they move around. In their English class, they will be in a smaller class with all MA students and being taught by a MA teacher. But then when they go to art or PE, it's all blended with MHS students. Does that help?
Yeah, that was very helpful.
Yeah.
Are the when they said the counselors move up with each year, are those MA specific or I know there's a huge counseling.
Yeah, we have a team of 4 counselors, and so we each have a graduating cohort that are MA and MHS students. Milwaukie Unified, as we like to call you.
So, yeah, so Freeland is currently the junior counselor. We'll be the senior counselor next year, and then the year after that, we'll move back up to the freshman counselor. So, Freeland has been with this group since freshman year. And on that note, it is 8:10. I hope we answered a lot of your questions. The biggest one, just to remember, is March 15th. That is the deadline for applications. If you have any other questions that weren't answered, feel free to come on up. But we look forward to meeting you hopefully next year. Have a good evening.